Oh my gosh. I must have hit a button and ended up muting myself. Gotta love when that happens. But right now we are at 469K for Hydrant, 434K for Peak. We are nearing 100 lines in. But both players on really good paces here. But now over 500K, both players nearing level 19. About 4 Tetrises left for both of them as we're nearing the transition. Which means they can both still hit 600Ks before that speed change. Hydrant with a little bit of indecision over here. Ends up hanging a O piece. Not anything dangerous, just will mean a little more burning. Meanwhile, Peak down to 2 more Tetrises, but if he takes a burn, which he does, he's going to lose one of them. And he will go in at 599,000. Hydrant trying to work out of this. Gets a Tetris into 19, but now we'll have that gap on the bottom and a little bit of floating amino action there in column 10 to work with. And now 703,000 for Pkric into level 21, 630,000 for Hydrant Dude. Now Hydrant will get the O-Tuck. Is Tetris ready? We're just waiting for that long bar to show up. It does, and both will get the Tetris. That's a simul Tetris, in fact. 690K to 734K. Hey now. And as these players are building so nice and clean, both on max out pace, about a 1.15 million for Hydrant Dude and about a 1.2 for Pkric. I'll let you know that the Matcherino is alive and well. Make sure you hit that up. That's our prize pool for these Division 1 players that you are watching right at this very moment. And as I look, there are still coupon codes remaining. There's 11 coupon codes remaining. How are there still 11 coupon codes left? You can go there, click a button, and make a contribution to the Matcherino. It's easy as pie. It's so easy, I even did it. But now we're hitting level 25, 877K for Hydrant, 975 for Peak, so one more Tetris will give him the max out here into level 26. Meanwhile, Hydrant down by about 3 Tetrises and change. And Peak does have that max out, 1.04 million. He goes into level 27 with the 1.07. Meanwhile, Hydrant trying to get the pieces to burn, but he's hung a couple of them, so this is going to be a little bit tricky here. Does get the 5 tap over. And hello, B-Bot, and hello, Furio. Earlier, I did see you, but Hydrant is going to top out. And Peak is going to get a 1.14 million and take game number 1. So yeah, unfortunate top out here. As Peak going to go into kill screen with a 1.25 million. Man, I will say Peek has had a pretty good run here over the past few games. He did pull off that 1.5 in a Mullen effort earlier. And we'll see if he can get this 1.3. Does get the 5-tap over. And now working to burn the board down. There we go. Getting a couple more pieces that he needs. Doing some good adjustments here. Now a little bit dependent, getting a little higher than he'd like to be, and it does get the 1.3 and gets the victory, now leading 1-0. 2, 1, Tetris. Early goings here. And of course, a nice little drought to start things off, about 16 pieces, but both players stave off that threat easily. So I mentioned before we were looking at Peek's match history in the first matchup while he was playing Cobra. A lot of gauntlet early on here. I mean, I'm looking at his first like 50 games, and I want to say about 45 of them were in the gauntlet. So a little bit of a baptism by fire, you might say, but definitely some good experience, definitely some good players. I mentioned some of the earlier ones, but in addition to the players from the first round of gauntlet, looks like Peek also played Josh Tolles, E-Flat, Scamper, Jerpy, Benji. I mean, well, also Martz. How did he get Martz in CT Gauntlet? How was Martz in CT Gauntlet? But a lot of the big names you see in the top at CTWC and in the top in this league, Peek played them at the very beginning of his career here in online Tetris. But now about 36 or so lines in, 150,000 for Peek, and it's going to be 168,000 for Hydrant, as we are nearing a third of the way to transition. And, all right, Bebot asking a question in chat. I'll take a look at that in a little bit, as we've got Hydrant on about a 520k pace, and Peek is, well, about the same. We'll call it a 510k pace for Pkric. But Hydrant's going to get the dirty Tetris 3 rows off the bottom. And it looks like another little mini drought, nothing too bad here. Both players able to throw down, and I don't know if that was by design from Hydrant Dude. These players have vision that I can't even comprehend. They come up with stuff, and I'm like, where did you even see that? So I wasn't sure if that was intentional by Hydrant or if that was just a dead drop or a missed input, as Peek is going to top out. Hydrant, you need 217,000. You need a pushdown point. That's all you need, but you get the burn, and Hydrant is going to take game number 2. As Peek tops out halfway to transition. We're even at 1 apiece. 4, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So now evened up at 1 apiece. Both players looking to take that edge into game number 4, as this match could prove to be vital for determining who stays in Division 1. And Hydrant was looking at the board. He's like, what is going on here? Looks like the little hang of the Z piece there. Nothing too bad, but I know we've all been there before. Like, why is that piece behaving like that? But we'll take a little look at the match history, which I kind of foreshadowed about a little earlier between these two, that they have met before in Tetris action. The first time they met was CTM Masters, April 2022. It was Hydrant with the sweep in that one. Then they met again a couple years later. It was CTM Challengers, April 2024. And Hydrant again won that one 3-1. So Hydrant took the 2-0 lead early in this series. But Peek has won 2 of the last 3. 1 in CTL Season 27, 3-1 in Division 2B. But then won again in CTM Masters August 2025. But Hydrant did take the last season CTL matchup in Division 1B between these two. And 3-1. Right now, we are coming up on a third of the way to transition. In fact, Peek is past it. 47 lines already. And Hydrant now is caught up a little bit in the line count. 138K, make it 161K. The lead is less than a Tetris. And we might see a little bit of hot potatoing of the lead as things go on. And a simul Tetris for both. Coming up on halfway to the level 19 transition. And it looks like Peek is going to have about a 480,000 pace. Hydrant on about a 440,000 pace. And also with a gap in his stack there right in the middle. And the Swiss cheese starting to form on Hydrant's side of the board. Meanwhile, Peek is clean. He's going to get a Tetris, so this is an opportunity for Peekayric to expand this lead, which is at about a Tetris and change. Because Hydrant is back in the burn unit, going to spend a little bit of time over there until he can get this board brought down and open up that little air pocket he's got in the middle. And now only one more burn needed, and then Hydrant will be back to Tetris ready, but Peek has taken advantage of the situation, now up 326K to 250K. But now Hydrant back up high again. He only needs a couple burns to get the well open. Could still get a Tetris with this, regardless of that gap, and actually a great pair of pieces here. Manages to burn the triple, open the gap, and get a Tetris at the same time. And I don't know if you all saw it, but we had a double Hey Now Tetris advantage or score advantage as Peekayric at one point was up 69,169 points. I believe that raises the Hey Now counter by 2. In the chat, we got some conversations about Canadian Tetris tournaments. And Bebot saying Mart's told him to go to Montreal because of the nightlife, so it's all Mart's fault. So Mart's catching strays here in CTL action tonight. I can't say I've never been to Montreal. I've never been to Toronto either, for that matter. And if it works out with my schedule, I'd like to make it out to Toronto. Right now, this game is 3 Tetris. Well, now 2 Tetrises apart. 444 for Hydrant, 494 for Peekayric. And Hydrant goes into 19 at 468,000. And Peekayric had one of the scores of all time, 466,669, I believe is what I saw, or 496,669, excuse me. It was a Omen Voir Hey Now Spectacular, that is for sure. But now both players over 500,000. Peek trying to get this board brought down into level 19. Could set up for a dirty Tetris, and he actually is set up for it. But will have to take the burns because the long bar did not show up. Meanwhile, Hydrant has taken the lead back, 568k to 516,000. And he'll throw down another Tetris into level 21. But right there, Peek actually now set up for a dirty Tetris. Will that long bar show up? It's not showing up, so he's just going to take the burns and bring this board to a lower state and then get the Tetris. 635k for Hydrant, make it 663 after the Toasters to 561,000 into level 22. Hydrant right on the edge of max out pace. Could still happen for him, but it's like teetering on the edge of a max out. Pkric right now, looking at a kill screen in the 900,000s. We'll call it about a 930k potential kill screen for him. But after some struggles in the late 18 into level 20 range, looks like things have sorted themselves out. The board's looking a lot better than they did 20, 30 lines ago. Oh no, a couple of hanks from Hydrant here. He's going to try and get this board burnt down. He's getting the 5 taps over. Now he's waiting for the right pieces, but of course, when you wait for the right pieces, they are almost guaranteed to not show up when you need them. But Hydrant is surviving over here. Needs a long bar in the middle. He will get it. And will continue to burn. And this is going to allow Peekayric to get the lead. Some great digging up high from Hydrant. Will he get out of this? He's got the gap open. And now he's down to a much better state than he was just 10 or so lines ago. And he's going to get out of this potentially. And once Hydrant is able to open up that right well, he's going to be free. He's going to have survived this dig. And the well is open, waiting for the long bar. And in the midst of that dig, there was a 32-piece drought. Both players had to endure it. And I don't know if you can say there's a good time for a drought to show up. But when you're in a dig like that, a drought's not the worst thing, as Hydrant does not get the long bar over. And he's going to top out at 872k. Unfortunate top out after such a great dig, and Peekayric is going to take game number 3 as he's got 974k into the kill screen. Three, two, one, Tetris. Yeah, there's a few pizza options available. Caesars is available, Domino's is available. There's a place here called Football Pizza, and it's exactly what you expect. The pizzas are indeed football shaped. And full disclosure, those are not the only options I can choose from. Twitch limits how much I can type for my poll choices. So you only get 1 or 2. And Kingsman, it was delicious. I don't know if they have a picture of what I got on their menu, but I'm going to look while we're taking in this game number 4 between Peekayric and Hydrant Dude. But I can mention that if you do go to that place that I went to last night for a Super Bowl, $10 wings and euros. But what I ended up getting was their Euro stir fry with a side of hummus. But now 35 lines in. Peek does have the lead right now by a couple Tetrises, 184k to 129k. Hydrant had to do some burning up high, but we'll get the long bar over and we'll get the Tetris. Oh, yes, I suppose I should have clarified, Harumi, American football shaped. So a little bit of an oblong shaped pizza. And right now, Peak holding on to a 3 Tetris advantage, 280k to 184k. We are about 55 lines in. And that picture is similar to what I had last night. That one, I believe, has shrimp on there, whereas the one I had was gyro. And then throw in a side of some delicious hummus. And that was the toast dinner last night. Halfway to transition, it's a 650k pace for Peekayric. Hydrant needs to do some burning. He's on about a 460,000 transition pace. But he is set up for a dirty column 3 Tetris. So will he be rewarded with a long bar? Has to put some weight on it, and now he's got the T-spin set up, does get the burn on the T-spin, and has the well opened up, and will get the Tetris. Just a great sequence of pieces for Hydrant, dude. You could say everything was coming up Millhouse on that one. Right now, it is Peak holding on to this lead. It is nearly a 5 Tetris edge for him. 399k to 289k, a little over 100,000 points. And this board from Hydrant is not in the best of shape. But he does get the line spin to happen. And is set up for a dirty Tetris. And we'll actually get another one. Peak Maywell with a very clean board. 468k to 321k. As Hydrant still fighting with the pieces to go where he wants them to go. And also fighting with RNG telling him that he's not going to get the pieces he wants and he'll have to be happy about it. As we pass 100 lines cleared in Game 4. The lead for Peak has grown to over 8 Tetrises, 538 to 338. Now it looks like Hydrant starting to get things back under control here. Does get a dirty triple. He'll set up a row, 2 rows out the bottom actually. And will hopefully in his case get that dirty Tetris, and he does. He's still bringing this board down, battling with RNG. He's got some burns, and maybe we'll start to transition that well over. But in all of this, Peak has just kept the pace up, kept the pressure on. 607k for Peekayric to 398,000 for Hydrant. But now both players into 19. 447k for Hydrant, dude. 659k for Pkric. It's an 8 Tetris advantage, so Hydrant's got his work cut out for him here in game number 4, and he'll need it to take it to a game number 5. And now, looks like King is showing me a Greek place that I should go to, and the initial pictures look very promising. I could get used to that. So Kingsman and I completing the Greek food gift exchange as Hydrant's got the board under control here. Things are looking clean. Peak is also clean, but not quite Tetris ready. 782 to 611k. Hydrant has cut this down. This lead was over 8 Tetrises and nearly 9, but now it's under 5, so it's almost been cut in half here into level 23. And that place that I put in the chat is actually where we had our Mini D after party in 2025. But our eyes continue to stay on Hydrant's side of the board here, where he is battling back, has eaten away at more than half of this deficit, but still down by 4 Tetrises in level 24. 740k, make it 771 to 885, make it 916. Peek on the verge of a max out here, about to go into level 26. So this is the slugfest we were waiting for in this game, as both players passing off the Tetris baton between each other, trying to outduel, as Peek looking to end this in 4 and Hydrant looking to take it to a decider. But now Peek having to do a little bit of burning, not too bad, just a couple burns here and there. As Hydrant dude gets a Tetris. But now we'll have to do a little bit of burning, like actually a very quick burn, and so quick, in fact, that Hydrant still gets the Tetris as Peek gets the max out. 1.05 million for Peek to 974k for Hydrant dude. And now your last chance to get your vote in on the poll for dinner tonight, which is currently tied. Make your voice known. I have been known to order what the people in chat tell me to order, so keep that in mind. As Peek goes into kill screen with a 1.16 million. Hydrant goes in with a 1.079 million. So it's a 2 Tetris deficit for Hydrant here in game number 4. As Peek is trying to keep this board alive. Will he get the burns he needs? He's got column 3 open. And Peek is successfully burning here and keeping himself alive. I say alive like he's trailing. He is not, but oh no, Peek is going to top out. So Hydrant, you have a chase down. 1.19 million. 2 Tetrises will do it. Well, the question is, will we be done in 4 or will we need more points? $48,000 a Tetris and a little more is what Hydrant needs. He's trying to set up for a Tetris. It is line outable. He needs 43,000 points in 60 lines. But he's waiting in this drought. It's 20 pieces. Where is the long bar? He gets the Tetris and gets the burns to force the decider. Hydrant nearly sold out for the long bar. It came at the last possible moment to get it over and follows that up with a burn to win the game and bring us to game number 5. Four, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. All right, and since the coin said go with burgers, we're going to put some burger places in the chat. And just so you know, we already had this debate, so we're not going to rehash it. A chicken sandwich is not a burger. There's no such thing as a chicken burger. We're not going into that again. So there you go. Make your voice heard on the follow-up poll here. Oop, we've got a hang of the T piece from, or not the T piece, the S piece from Pkric, but he's going to get a Tetris out of it, so nothing too bad there. As we're still early on in the game number 5 over here, Hydrant will miss the S spin. And I think that might have been a dead O piece there. So he'll get the 5 tap, but the board's still not in a good state. Fills the long bar dependency in column number 3, and he's going to get some burns and probably breathing a sigh of relief internally, as that was looking to be a little dicey over there. But Peek is also a little higher than he probably wants to be, but gets a triple. Oh no, hangs a T piece. Could still be able to get out of this, but it will mean a little more burning on Peek's side of the board. And we got both players just hanging pieces, perhaps missing inputs. It's a Freaky Friday on a Thursday. But Hydrant has managed to escape the dig. Currently on a 450k pace. Peek is on a 330k pace. That is for level 19 transition. And Peek has the well open. Well, I should say had the well open. Had the well open. The long bar came, but he put some weight on it and possibly a double flip there. So we'll keep our eyes on Pkayric's side of the board. Gets a 5-tap with the long bar over and a flat burn. Hydrant with the lead, 202k to 128k. As we're nearing 60 lines in. And if nothing else, both players making this one exciting, but Peek is now long bar dependent. Opts to not go for the dirty Tetris. Probably a smart move that far up, even with rolling. And it's about a 480k pace for Hydrant, about a 270k transition pace for Pkric, who gets the S piece over and the L piece over. And at long last, a Tetris for Pkric. He survives that dig. That was a little bit scary, even for a roller, as it just seemed to never end. But that dig has allowed Hydrant Dude to be up by almost 4 Tetrises here. 277k to now 217,000 for Pkric. But keep in mind, as a result of building so high up for so long, Pkric is now about 15 lines in the future. So this lead may be a little more pronounced than the score would indicate. And not quite as simul Tetris, but both players throwing one down. So the lead hovering around 100,000 points, 370 to 265,000. Hydrant in the lead in a winner-take-all game number 5. Of course, game 5 having all kinds of different names depending on who you've got. I know my good friend and compadre in Restreaming, Adam Irish, refers to it as a Guinness game. I, of course, say we need more points. Any other good names for a game number 5 other than Decider, the commonly used one? Let us know what you think. But I think Peek is in another burn situation here. He's a little over halfway up the board. 444,000 to 327,000. Hydrant in the lead, gets another Tetris. Peekayric goes into 19 at 354,000 points. So we'll probably see that line count discrepancy grow even more as Hydrant gets a Tetris. It's a simul Tetris, and he follows up with another. 513k for Hydrant. Dude, he can get one more Tetris and does have a couple burns if need be. But he won't need them. He gets the Tetris. 537k into 19. 4 Tetrises is the advantage for Hydrant Dude. Looking to pull out the victory and get another win under his belt in a very strong, very tough Division 1B. Now Peek up high once again. He is long bar dependent in the middle. Will take a couple of flat burns. And Peek is just trying to survive at this point and bring this board down. Meanwhile, Hydrant is Tetris ready over here, waiting to get that long bar. Both players are pretty high up. Hydrant's going to get the Tetris, and Peek is in trouble. I don't know if he can do anything else with this board, and you see it in his face. He's like, oh my goodness. As Hydrant will take it in a decider. Game number 5 going to him. And you could almost hear the phew coming through the camera on Hydrant Dude's side as he takes this one 3 games to 2, 734k at level 23. So yeah, this is definitely max out pace. Going to be close to a 1.1 pace, but hanging in there. And we'll let Hydrant Dude take it to the finish for us. But now he's having to deal with some rough pieces and some rough birds. Can he get out of this? Gets the long bar down. I think he thought it was going to burn, but it didn't. But he's still alive. Can he get the long bar over? He cannot, but he tops out. It matters not that he topped out because he does have the win. And congratulations, Hydrant Dude. A winner is you. Increment, that is the plan of attack. Both players are ready. So we're going to go ahead and get this one started. Let's count it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And yes, Tebanoku, Ethan Thoughts does still exist. Rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. I actually DM'd with him today, so he is still around. And I may take advantage of his restreaming prowess for an upcoming event in the next few weeks. More info on that will come out once I get some logistics finalized. But we may have a cool little deal popping up in the next few weeks. But let's go ahead and get to know our players here. We're starting with Cobra. Now, Cobra, no stranger to Tetris tournaments in person. He's been to CTWC the past couple of years, finished 44th and 7th. Cobra was kind of a rising star at CTWC this year. I remember being there and just watching his quals. I'm like, man, Cobra's really popping off. So, guess you could say that was my intro to Cobra right there. But bored in a little bit of trouble here. There was a drought of significance there between both players. But real quick, we'll finish sharing about the tournaments Cobra's been to. Went to Lone Star in 2024, finished 4th. Stillwater finished 6th. Boston last year, 2025, took 1st there and also took 4th at Space City. Now, we are almost 40 lines in, 170K to 134K for Peekayric, and I've going to give a little refresh here as I am seeing something I don't think I should be seeing. So keep playing, players. Ignore what I am babbling about here. I'm going to get things all squared away on my end. There we go. I knew it would be a quick deal, so things looking good here. About 50 lines in, 204,000 for Cobra, 224K for Pkric, but Cobra's going to fire one right back, so just like you saw between Guafi and Crab Rangoon, a little hot potato lead action going on. Now coming up on halfway to 19. And some solid early returns on these players here. Looking at about a 550K pace for Cobra and a 500K pace for Cobra, a 540 for Pkric. I'm getting my names mixed up. And things looking good, but I think now's a great time, if you have not done so already, to hit up the Matcherino. Again, Division 1 prize pool, so some rewards we can go to these players who are showing great Tetris play. They're at the top of their game. They're at the top of the league as well. So make sure you go ahead and get your contribution in. For some reason, there are still 11 coupon codes left, people.